Hello, everyone. Welcome, Silent Brief Podcast, one episode 228. We're going to recap the Sweet 16 and the Elite 8 happened over the weekend. We had some games were good, some games were blowouts. We had one hell of a last-second shot in one of the games, so we'll go over that. Plus, a couple of things to go over. UFC had a fight night in Seattle. We'll go over the highlights of that card. Plus, we got opening week for MLB, so I think we have a couple of highlights to hit there. So, all that being said, guys, stay tuned. We got some March Madness to go over, guys. Like I said in the opener, bunch of some good games this weekend, some snoozers, but we'll get about when we talk about the Elite 8, but there's one hell of a shot made in one of those games to send that team to the Final Four. I guess we can start on Thursday and Friday set of games. Do you guys have any thoughts on the Sweet 16?
Oh man, some awesome upsets. Um, I don't know. We were kind of giving it some gruff that it was a lack of a inspiring field. It was a lot of top heavy. Wasn't a lot of upsets. Texas run finally came to an end, which I shout out to Texas because they did a great run. And in that game against Purdue, I swear to God, every time I watched, they were finding another way to give Purdue the ball back. And I didn't feel like it was well deserved because I felt like Texas was fighting really hard to have the refs be that against them the whole time. It is what it is. Other games from that day, the wheels fell off the wagon for Arkansas. They didn't have a chance against Arizona once that thing got going and started. It was just downhill sledding for Arizona. I mean, size, box out. I'm almost at every position, just outplaying them. Pretty much beat them up like an Alabama team would, which is not something you would think Arkansas was going to allow happen. And then other games that day, like Houston just doing Houston things when they get to the tournament. That coach is always complaining about not having enough money, and maybe every time they get to this part of the tournament, that kind of shows. And then I did kind of call the Iowa-Nebraska game. I said it would be kind of a game off comparatively to other teams. You get to play a team for 3 times. Hard fought one. Nebraska ran out of gas. Simple as that. They had shot so many threes all season, and into that game where it just stopped dropping. And when Nebraska can't hit threes, they can't win games.
Yeah, I thought the Michigan State game, Michigan State UConn, was really fun. UConn jumped out to a really big lead. Michigan State did come back. They did make it entertaining, but UConn kind of proved to be one step ahead. Duke and St. John's, that was also one of those games that the final score makes it look a little bit closer than it was, but Duke kind of exerted their dominance, and St. John's kept up with them for the most part. Shout out to Illinois, like you said. That Houston game was really entertaining. Those two kids from Illinois they're legit. Arizona, it will not be the last time it's said, is a wagon. That team is very good, very, very deep. Like you said, shout out to Texas. I mean, they fought really hard. Close game, came down to the end. So give a lot of love to the 11 seed. Iowa, shout out as well. Michigan, another team that's just looks really hard to beat. Tennessee surprised me, beating Ohio State. Iowa State also had one of their dudes out. So, but yeah, we had a 6 seed and a 9 seed, all the way into the Elite 8. So, not as bad as probably was talked about, but the Sweet 16 was pretty good. But I definitely think the Elite 8 was kind of stole the show there with that one thing that happened.
Yeah, well, so let's hop right into the Elite 8 Saturday games. I guess we got Purdue, Arizona, and Iowa, Illinois. Thoughts on these two?
There was nothing spectacular or amazing about these two. I mean, it simply came down to the fact that Iowa ran into gas. Illinois literally was prepared for that. I mean, just imagine, like, all these Big Ten teams literally just keep making it through, and then keep giving each other problems. Pretty much, like they're literally their own Achilles heel, their own problems. But yeah, Iowa, they fought all tournament. The freshmen that were stepping up and giving them big minutes and giving them big time, they just didn't have anything for the big Elite Eight moment. And again, Arizona just kind of proved that they are on a whole tier level than some of the other colleges.
Yeah, Purdue's a really good team. I like a lot of guys on Purdue, and Arizona kind of just exerted their dominance and proved that they are, definitely they were the best team in their region by far. And excited to see what all happens there, because on paper, I think that those are the two best teams, Arizona and Michigan, and they're going to face off in the Final Four. So that'll be a fun one.
And Sunday, we had some games. Michigan taking care of Tennessee, and then UConn coming back on Duke with that last-second shot after getting the steal after that Duke turnover. Guys' thoughts?
Duke sold like half the country. Like just the whole lead up to it. Like, man, I don't even know what the whole rush was to get that ball up that court so fast. Anyways, like you have an 8-second clock. All right, with your 8-second clock, they still had like 3 or 4 seconds. Like, my guy, that clock started with about 9 to 10 seconds left on it. And you were just trying to throw a heave down the court with 6 seconds left. You didn't even need to do all that. You could have just dribbled it out on that side and given them 2 seconds and done just way better than that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was thinking more so for the foul. Like, just hold on to the ball and let them foul you if you can't advance it there. I want to say more so than anything, like, what an incredible comeback, because they were down 15 at half. I know it was 19 was Duke's biggest lead, but down 15 at half. There was a point in the second half, probably like 4 or 5 minutes left, where they were only down by 5, and I was like, even if they lose, like they did, like definitely outplay Duke in the second half, and like I'm in my head thinking like, they played a better second half, so they can hang themselves, hang their heads high, whatever. And that kid that got the steal passed it and then got the ball back, and after the game said he passed it to a guy that had just banged the three-pointer because he didn't want to take it because he hadn't hit one that game, and got the ball back and shot a logo 3, and yeah, that was butter. I mean, in March Madness, it's all about the moments. It's all about the, oh my God, holy shit, oh my God moments. And that was one for sure. I was up here screaming and yelling. I was watching that, and that was probably, for me at least, that was the biggest moment of the tournament. And man, anytime you can see Duke lose and anytime you can see a moment like that and pair them together, yeah, that was magical. Shout out to UConn for that.
Yeah, Dan Hurley making magic happen once again, back in the Final Four. Dan Hurley, he's a hell of a coach. I think he's feeling pretty good about declining that Lakers job, right?
Oh yeah.
And shout out Coach Pitino. He signed an extension, right? He's the second highest paid coach in the Big East. Obviously,
deserves it.
Yeah, first is Dan Hurley, but well deserved. 2 good coaches in the Big East. Now we got the Final Four set up.
Oh, did you hear that they warned Dan Hurley on UConn about his temperament with the refs? Now, I think it's funny that they warned him after the game is already finalized. So, like, it really didn't matter. Like, oh, we don't like the way you acted, but the game is already. Now, do you think there's any repercussions going into the next one against Illinois, who, in a different sense, is not bringing bad blood into the game? I mean, Dan Hurley brings bad blood the moment he even walks into the ring.
I mean, Hurley, he wants all the smoke, man. So I don't blame him at all for acting the way he acts, because these officials, honestly, they deserve some of the vitriol, because they be, the calls they make is outlandish. So
I think the 3 of us, we've all played organized sports, obviously not at high level of D1 NCAA. I know all 3 of us would love to play for a guy like Dan Hurley. He brings it. He brings the energy. He's got this, like, even after he hit the shot and they're all celebrating, he kind of had like a baby McGregor strut. His coat was like half off, and he had that just mean, like, let's go look in his face. And yeah, he got a little close, forehead to forehead with the referee. But I mean, in the heat of the moment, I'm very glad they didn't call anything or put Duke on the line for that, just because that was all the emotion of stressful season and being down 19 points and I mean, a shot like that. So I heard a little bit of chatter about that today, but I'm very glad that the refs let it play out. And then even issue a warning, like, hey, like, don't be doing that stuff, but also, like, we're not going to take away a trip to the Final Four over Dan Hurley kind of being a jerk.
Better not cost that man a trip to the Final Four. Fans will riot. But we have the Final Four all set. Illinois, UConn. Who do we have in this one? Let's start with you, Lawrence.
Illinois, UConn. If I had to break it down, I really had to take one. I would probably lean UConn just from the pedigree, and I would just say they've been there, done that. I mean, there's still guys who have been on the past UConn teams who have, gone pretty far distances, but the coach is still there, and kind of what this tournament's come down to is who's got the best coach, at some points in time on the court. I kind of believe that's how Iowa made as far as they did. They just had a really amazing coach that really got the best of his guys. Pitino, they almost took Duke out themselves. Look, another coach doing good things. Michigan State giving some fight back. Hey, look, good coach doing good things. So, as good as Illinois is, they do have a amazing freshman in Wagler. I kind of think that this is where it falls apart. I think UConn is just that good.
Jacob, your thoughts on this one?
I agree with Lawrence, basically everything he said, but I will point out the weird thing for me is that Illinois is a -2.5 favorite. When you talk about the experience, talk about the coaching, talking about been there, done that. I mean, this is making the Final Four was the Super Bowl for Illinois. Respectfully, obviously they want to win, but like making it to the Final Four for UConn, that's not a big deal. I mean, obviously it's awesome, but like they're trying to win a chip. Illinois is probably just happy to be there. And yeah, they got a really good roster. They got the freshman that you just mentioned. I'm surprised that Illinois is favored in this game. It won't be the last time I said it. I just saw the other line too. But I would say I like UConn. But again, you got to think about the sports books and why people would probably more likely bet on UConn, especially following that very emotional comeback victory with the dagger 3 at the end against Duke. So I think based on the line, I would take Illinois. But before I saw the line, I was with Lawrence and I would take UConn. But the line there is very, very curious to me.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with Lawrence on this one. I think the experience wins here. Illinois, they had a decent run last year with Yakochonis. Obviously now he's a Heat rookie. But now they got even more talent. That roster's just a year older, year better. So I don't know. I feel like they're kind of running out of gas. I think UConn's probably going to be, electrified from that, beating Duke, the number 1 overall seed. So I think they got, definitely some confidence going into this one. So I'm going to go with UConn. And then we got Michigan, Arizona, battle of the number 1s. One of them has to go home and into the championship game. Who will it be? Jacob, who you got in this one?
I've had Arizona the whole way, so I'm not going to shy away from that. I've seen Michigan as favored in this one too. This one I'm less bugged by just because even with Duke in the field, I think these are the 2 best teams. We kind of touched last Monday about how like Duke hadn't been playing their best ball and they might be gettable. Granted, they looked really good yesterday until it kind of all fell apart. I think Arizona and Michigan are the 2 best teams, 2 really good coaches. I just think Arizona's like 7 or 8 deep. They have way more depth. Michigan probably has the best player. The Yaxel kid and their center are both just absolute beasts. So I think this is just going to be one of those old school, remember where you were when these 2 teams played, because this should be a barn burner. And I'm going to take the Arizona Wildcats.
Lawrence, who do you have in this one?
Well, I think I'm just going to totally agree with them because I've kind of been on Arizona all season. I've been taking their spreads pretty much all season and coming out on top with it. I don't know. Michigan did. I think they were talking about how Michigan lost one of their best players going into the tournament. Mm-hmm. Then they, rallied and made it seem like it wasn't that big of a deal during the Big Ten tournament. But, unfortunately, got upset right at the last minute to Purdue, who has just lost to this Arizona team. While, mind you, having the lead at halftime and looking good about it. Like, it wasn't like a question, like an afterthought, like, oh, is Purdue going to do this? Like, no, like, first half, we thought they were them boys. Arizona, they showed us that they weren't ready to go home yet. I mean, exactly how you're supposed to do it. I mean, as much as Arizona's overcome, I think it's just foolish not to take them. I know Michigan's good. I know they're going to be bringing everything they got, but still give me Arizona. I think they're just the healthier team. They have that freshman as well. I think his name's like Burries. Come on. I think they got it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Arizona. I'm gonna agree with you guys. I think, other than Duke, they were the team that I favored the most in this whole tournament. I actually have them playing against Duke in one bracket. Another bracket, I have Arizona winning. So not gonna change up here. Give me Arizona, even though Michigan. Hey, I'm not gonna lie. I had Michigan being one of the first number 1 seeds to lose, and they proved me wrong. Like three rounds in a row. So, I think this is the time that they end their run. But hey, they got a hell of a tournament. So shout out to Michigan. Now we're gonna pivot to the UFC. We had a fight night in Seattle. We had Mighty Mouse, UFC legend, get his I guess not induction, but he was announced as an inductee into the UFC Hall of Fame. All in all, I would say pretty good card. These fight nights have been, I think, back-to-back fight nights have been pretty good overall. Can we just get a numbered one to be good?
I mean, yeah, that's kind of what we're begging for, is a number one to be as good as these fight nights, because the fight night's not bringing the powerhouse in terms of the people, but they're bringing the powerhouse in terms of finishes, because there was not one decision on that main card.
Nope.
And that's the shit we love.
Yeah, I mean, what was it? 5 knockouts, 1 submission.
Yep, one
and
side.
I was praying they were gonna call the Macy Barber one a submission, low key, because I had a bet out there that had 2 submissions on the night, and I was like, Michael Chiesa is like guaranteed one, so there answers that one. I was like, I just need someone somewhere along the way to get a submission. Then it was getting towards the end, and I was like, no one's gonna get a submission here. This fight, like the final fight, like they're not gonna submit each other. They're gonna go toe to toe, bang it out. So, it came down to Macy Barber and Alex Grasso, and Macy Barber went down and immediately put her in the hole, and I was like, yes. And then I watched the replay, and I'm like, oh, that bitch was gone. She won't. She didn't even make it to the hole. She wasn't there.
Yeah, she was laying down for a while. But hey, shout out to the other girl. She saw it and she went for the sub. That was pretty brutal. I mean, she was leaving no questions unanswered, right? Like, she was going to get a finish no matter what.
In terms of women finishes in the UFC, I mean, I think I texted you guys Saturday night. Like, that had to be top 5, top 3, like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was just a beautiful jab. I mean, just knocked her lights out. And then the way that Macy fell, Alexa didn't know that she was out, but she had presented her neck. So for her speed and instinct to just jump on that neck mad quick, I mean, poor Macy, like you said, I mean, she was out for a minute. So yeah, and also go back to Alexa. I mean, she celebrated her win and then recognized that her opponent was still down and took a knee right by her and made sure she was okay. So tons of respect there. Want to shout out to Chiesa. I think we talked about it before. Long time legend. He won the Ultimate Fighter 15, I think, which was probably like 10, 12 years ago. Old guy. He sits on the desk. I mean, he's a big fixture in the UFC. From Seattle or from Washington, Spokane area. And last fight, goes out there, first round submission, classic Michael Chiesa, gets on the mic. I mean, it was just an awesome scene. And DC even mentioned, he's like, man, you can't write a story tell better than that. Final fight, hometown, first round finish. I mean, the story, you can't write story better than that. So shout out to Chiesa for that. That was awesome.
Yeah, shout out to them giving him Nico Price too. Like, that man did not give much competition outside like the first 10 seconds.
Yeah. UFC knew what they were doing. Here you go. Here you go, Chiesa. We like you. Here's Nico Price. No, all respect to Nico, but I think everybody in their mom knew what was happening when Chiesa was going to Washington for his retirement fight.
Yeah, couldn't have planned it better than that. Any other highlights we want to touch on? Do we want to touch on Izzy? losing again, or some of these other fights beforehand?
Do we want to touch on it? No, but I guess we can. I mean, we kind of discovered our man has a chin that's really breakable now.
Shout out to Joe Bodybags Pfeiffer. The press leading up, he's always been a very brash, kind of a a-hole kind of guy. It appears he found religion, and he was very quiet and reserved going into this, which made people question if he was going to be as ferocious and intense. And he looked real good, man. I mean, we were texting during the fight. Izzy had moments. I don't think Izzy's washed. I just think that, like you said, Lawrence, the chin's not the same. And once, Joe got on top and Izzy presented his back and Joe was just raining down the ground and pound fist. I hate to say it because it's happened recently, but Joe Pfeiffer kind of made easy work of Izzy Adesanya, which, 4 or 5 years ago, that would have been basically impossible. So, yeah, it looks like Izzy's slowly going out as opposed to just losing one big one and quitting. Like he's getting his ass kicked a few more times before he's quitting.
And they were doing a lot of comparisons to him and Anderson Silva during like the lead up to this fight, and after watching him go out there and look like he did, he looked pretty decent the first round. I think arguably the first round could have gone either way. Like no one stood out greater than the other to much degree. But the second round, I thought he was winning until he got caught. I thought he was doing everything he was supposed to. And then, I don't know. I think it possibly comes down to the fact that he thinks that his name is one thing and who he is one thing. And then, Father Time's caught up to him like it did, Silva. Silva did the same thing. And it's the bob and weaving shit, man. He's dirty boxing. First off, you shouldn't be dirty boxing with this man. He's got harder fists than you. Shouldn't be dirty boxing with him. But then he's doing all the feinting and moving around and he's feeling himself. Cool. But that's how you get got. And your chin's not like that to eat a few and go, oh man, let me not do that one. And instead of eating it, you just wake up on the ground on your stomach with another man on top of you.
Yeah, I was going to say, Izzy was looking good going to the second round. He caught Joe a couple times, and I thought he had a chance to finish him. But I guess, like you're saying, Lawrence, he got too full of himself. This isn't, not the same guy he used to be. So, in my opinion, you should have stopped playing. It was kind of like he was playing with his food, right? Like, you got a chance to take the guy out. You probably should have finished him instead of, feeling yourself and dragging the fight out. I mean, you just got to know how to fight differently once you're getting up in age. Yeah,
but Izzy's just like Anderson Silva. As they were comparing it, Izzy when he was a champion, this man was fighting 3 times a year. We're lucky that some fighters even fight 1 time a year to defend their title. This man was fighting 3 times a year, and you can see what the lasting effects are now. It's because Shin's gone. Well, it's because it's been fucking punched over 1,000 times. That's just in the ring, the octagon ring. We're not even talking about during spar sessions.
Yeah, I think the big thing with UFC, I mean, the tale as old as time. The problem here, I think, specifically with Izzy, because same fight when he fought, I can't forget the guy's name from French.
The last guy, he was doing the same stuff.
Same exact thing. Imamov. Yeah, he was winning the fight. He was doing great, and then he got caught, and then it was over. So, I think the Adesanya thing that Lawrence kind of mentioned too, with how he used to fight versus how he is now, he still has the same personality. He has the same ego. He still thinks of himself as a champion and one of the greatest to ever do it, which is all true. But you kind of have to look yourself in the mirror and go, I have to adjust. I have to fight different because I am different now. Father Time is approaching. And I think that in UFC, it's so hard for a guy, let alone a champion and one of the greatest ever, to really look himself in the mirror and be like, I have to change. The sport has forced me to do this differently. And as a result, they don't change. And, similar results happen. And it's weird because when Izzy was a champion, I didn't like him because he was bold and cocky and so good. And it's now that he's not and he's on the down hard, it's hard not to like him and root for him. And you kind of feel bad for him just because this is a guy that, was at the top of the mountain and had everything. And, now he's lost 5 of his last 6 and, looking for answers.
Yeah, I don't know. This is it's a tough one. He says he's going to keep going, but we'll have to see. But, yeah, it's definitely hard to see Izzy keep, getting knocked out, man.
Fun fights only.
Yeah.
Give them
Yeah,
legends and old dudes. Yeah.
he needs to do it. He needs to stop doing what Josh Emmett's doing, because like again, Josh Emmett, same ordeal. You're up in age. The only thing you have left now is your knockout ability. But like, stop fighting the best people. Stop fighting the top dogs.
Yeah.
Like Adesanya. Like, let's refocus here. We're talking about like step it down and go fight some legends. I mean, honestly, go fight some guy who wants to make a name for himself that's like ranked 13. And I get it. You just fought Piper, and he was really far down there. But he had things going for him. Like there was ideas. I'm not saying to go be a gatekeeper, but man, if I'm worried that every single fight you're gonna get slept, I might as well tell you to go be a gatekeeper, because goddamn, Neil Magny and stuff still used to make noise down at the gatekeeper, weight, and then you really find out who's good and who's bad down there. You just clean house for us.
I think he's a gatekeeper now. I mean, think about when Imamov beat him. It was like, oh, he's probably next in line for the title shot. Granted, he has a relationship with Hamzat, so he didn't get it. Strickland got it. But, like, Piper just beat Izzy, and it's like, Piper's next fight he's one away. Piper wins his next fight, he's there for a title. Like, he was 14, he just beat number 4 in the world. Like, he's in the top 5. Like, I still think that the UFC kind of views him as like, all right, even though he's lost a lot recently, if you beat him, then you're right at the top. Which, whether that's true or not, I mean, depending on how good Izzy is still, like we said, we all saw it until it was over. I'm not sure how that kind of plays out long term, but I do think that he's probably going to be put in that gatekeeper spot where it's, hey, so-and-so is on the rise. Just like Piper. Hey, 14, big name, big mouth. Hey, go fight Izzy. He's a legend. If you beat him, here we go. If you don't beat him, it's all right. You're still young. Izzy's a legend. So, like, as much as I don't want to see that, because I don't want young, dangerous dudes like Joe Piper coming in and knocking out Israel Adesanya every single time, I'd rather say, hey, go get Paulo Costa and do a rematch, just because who cares? Give them fights that are basically meaningless other than, like, entertainment value for the fans. Like, don't worry about the rankings. Izzy's never going to be champion again. It's over. It's not going to happen. Just give him, like, older dudes that are both, like, late in their career and they're both kind of on the similar timeline, as opposed to a guy like Piper who's, like, obviously younger and wants to go win a title and is on the upcome rather than the decline.
Yeah, I think that might be something Dana has to explore. Izzy can't keep getting knocked out like this. He ain't got too many left in him, Hate to see
Seriously. Ask Tony Ferguson.
Opening week, MLB was last week. Do we have any thoughts, highlights from the past week or so of MLB?
Yeah, I think not anything specifically. I wanted to shout out the Nats. They're 2-1, which is insane. Didn't think they'd be over 500 at all this year. They're winning right now. If they win, they'll be 3-1. That'll be exciting. Marlins are also undefeated, as well as the Yankees and Blue Jays. Wanted to shout out Joey Weimer, guy the Nats picked up like off waivers or something. He went 8 for his first 8 and 2 walks. So his first 10 at bats with the Nationals, he reached base. Which is absolutely insane. He tied Carlos Delgado for the longest streak since 1922 or something. So shout out to him. Shout out to the couple guys from Japan that signed over, Murakami and Okamoto, I think. They both hit a couple home runs. Murakami's got 3 in 3 games. So pretty cool performances. Baseball is just getting underway, and we'll have baseball here until the beginning of November. So it'll be a long ride.
Lawrence, anything you want to shout out?
No, just the love of the Iowa Hawkeyes making that nice, glorious NCAA run. It was probably the best and coolest run I've watched since BCU's, glorious run in 2011. Being from the Richmond area, but always growing up a Hawkeyes fan. It was so nice to watch them do good in the tournament.
Cool. Nothing else from my end. We do have a little bit of NBA, but we can cover that on Wednesday. The playoffs are set. We just looking at seeding now. 1 through 10's pretty much locked in. I know the East is closer than the West, so maybe we'll touch up on that on Wednesday. But nothing else from me. So with that, we'll head on out. Thank you guys for watching on YouTube, listening on Spotify, all that good stuff. Sideline Brief Podcast episode 228, and we will catch you guys on Wednesday. Peace.
me